Thank you for taking the time to talk to me, Arnold. I know you're a busy person, probably got all kind of things on your itinerary today. Um, I know the last time I talked to you was at that Marv Nation event in Temecula. You were co-commentating along with my guy Beto Duran, and we were talking about the Josh Taylor versus Teofimo Lopez fight that was coming up that weekend. And things are interesting. Now, just really quick, before that fight happened, who did you think was going to win that fight right there between Josh Taylor and Teofimo?
Well, if you look at a lot of the interviews, I said that if the Josh Taylor that fought Regis and Ramirez came into the ring, I would pick Josh Taylor. But if it didn't, and Josh Taylor didn't come in healthy or didn't from the weight drain or anything like that, then I think Teal was gonna win. So I had Teal to win that fight only because I just didn't think that Josh Taylor was gonna be the Josh Taylor that we're used to because of the layoff and also because of the injuries that he was going through.
So you think it played a big issue that Josh Taylor was kind of inactive and had the injuries going into that fight with Teofimo?
It could have, but at the end of the day, I think, Teal looked really good. You can't knock his performance. He did look really good. And congrats to Teal, man. That's a good victory.
Do you feel that like a fighter's activity or relative activity within like a year period plays a big factor to how they perform in their fights? Because I did notice that you had like that little pause in 2020. Then you went into Danielito Zorilla fight, and it kind of looked like you were kind of still getting your bearings after you had that awesome war with Alex Salcedo, and then you kind of went into that fight with Zorilla, and it seemed like you were kind of not as in the rhythm as you normally are in your fights. Did that play a big factor, that time out of the ring?
Oh man, that's a huge factor. When I fought, Salcedo, I had just fought like a month and a half before that. So man, I was, activity is the best thing, but at a certain level, when you're getting, when you're at a certain level, you can't get fights like that no more. You know what I'm saying? You fighting every 5 to 6 months, it kind of sucks, but that's what it is, and I think activity is very important.
I believe so, and congratulations, all the hard work. For years, you've been calling out everybody. You've kind of been that fighter that's too high risk, too low reward for the guys like Teofimo Lopez and Ryan Garcia to want to acknowledge, but you're in an interesting position right now. This morning with all that big news that popped off, suddenly the rabbit has the gun. So this all kind of fell into my lap. Weren't you and Teofimo in negotiations for a talk long before the Josh Taylor fight even happened at 140?
Yeah, yeah. We sent an offer to him. I know that Top Rank was trying to push that fight. That's why I went to his fight when he fought Campa, to try to fight him in December 10th when he was supposed to fight Pedraza when he ended up fighting Sandro Martin. That was supposed to be my fight, but for some reason, I don't know if he didn't take the fight or what, but it just didn't happen. So now, I mean, we try to get that fight, but it just, it never happened. So now we're looking forward to something else.
Nice, nice. So just quick on the to let people know about your background and history real quick. So people that are going to come across this video on my channel specifically, because what I intend to do is I'm going to put the whole interview up on my YouTube channel, and I'm going to cut the good splices of this interview and set it up on my TikTok channel. And that's where it's going to get quite a bit of pump on that TikTok channel. That's where I get most of my reach. I know that your father is your trainer. When did you start boxing in general? When did that become like your thing?
I started boxing when I was 5.5 years old. I started at the gym really young. And I had a few smoker fights because I couldn't fight for USA Boxing because I was too young. And then decided to go legit at 8 years old and went to USA Boxing and started having fights and then I stopped for a while and then came back.
I looked up, I was trying to find an amateur record. Did you compete heavy in the amateurs or not much at all? Or
Well, my amateur record was good in the beginning, like I said when I first started. Total amateur fights I probably had only about 85 fights. That's not counting the smoker fights I had when I was a kid, but that was all young. I was all, that was all up to the age of like 12 or 13, and that's when I stopped fighting. And I stopped that, and the next time I fought again is when I came back to boxing at the age of like 18 or 19.
And what was the moment where you decided that this was going to be what you wanted to do? Because prize fighting, it's one of the hardest paths in life to take, period. When did you make that decision and said, this is what I'm going to do with my future?
It was after high school when I realized I had no shot at being an NFL player. So I decided to to do what I know how to do, and that's fight. And that's when I just gave boxing a chance. Not even thinking that I would be where I am today. So it just goes to show the hard work that I put in.
Well, you're doing very well in your professional ranks. You're currently 28-0. You've got names like Alex Saucedo, Danielito Zorilla, your latest win against Jose Pedraza. Your stats are amazing. Ranked number 6 in the Ring Magazine, number 4 in the WBC, ranked number 11 in the IBF, and the important one, ranked number 1 by the WBO in the 140-pound division. So you've definitely put in that work. And Paco Valcarel just dropped that news today that Teofimo Lopez vacated his WBO belt. What did you think as soon as you heard about that news?
The first thing that came to mind was, hopefully my time has finally come, my shot, and hopefully, because, me and Ramirez, I've been trying to fight Ramirez for a long time. And hopefully, it can be me. And if the bout is really vacated, I feel that, me and Ramirez should fight for the vacant belt. Hopefully, my time has come finally. Hopefully the work has paid off. But again, this is boxing. Things can happen. I don't keep my hopes up anymore, because I've done that in the past, and it's kind of, I've kind of gotten my feelings hurt. So so I don't get my hopes up anymore, but I just keep praying about it and seeing, hopefully my number's up now, and it's about time, if it is, and to become a world champion.
So looking at Jose Ramirez, we know he's a former Olympian, former title holder himself. We know his style, kind of a heavy cardio guy, likes to throw volume, pretty linear movement. What do you bring to the table against Jose Ramirez that has you confident you can win in a fight against him for that WBO strap?
Well, I think mine and his style is kind of similar. I throw a lot of volume as well. I'm always high condition when I'm in my fights. Um, and I believe mine and his styles just clash, man. And I think there's gonna be an all out war. Um, because I'm gonna want to come forward. He's gonna want to come forward. But I think what I can bring to the table that's different is I can also box when I want to box. And I can control the fight when I want to control it, how I want to control it. So I'm really looking. If it is gonna be him, I'm really looking forward, man, to this matchup. And I've been wanting it for years. And man, I'm gonna come with everything I got.
Nice, good answer. I could totally see what you mean by the ability to switch up your approaches. I seen in the Salcedo fight, you were clearly dogging it out with Salcedo, and then come that fight with Pedraza, you're spinning him around all kind of angles and cutting angles around him, and that was a fascinating. You get to show your different sets in your toolbox. So that'll be great going into that fight with Jose Ramirez. And man, congratulations! I know, as far as I understand it, you were signed to Top Rank in 2014. Is that correct?
I believe it was 20. Was it 2013 or 2014? Yeah, I've been with them for about 8 years now. So I've been with them most of my career. So hopefully the fight gets made with Ramirez or whoever else. But all I know is that I'll be very happy and very proud to fight for the WBO. That would be a dream come true, and to finally get what I deserve.
So it shouldn't be very difficult, as far as I understand, for you, in theory, for you and Jose Ramirez to organize a fight, because I believe you are both managed by Rick Marizian, correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, so did Rick call you today about that whole thing with the belt being vacated, or is that still something you're still assessing and figuring out as you go along with the day?
Yeah, it's still something that needs to be talked about. Because at the end of the day, the WBO needs to really officially post that it's vacated, and because Teofimo just sent a text. I don't know what's going on. So hopefully this is happening, and hopefully I get the call. Hopefully Top Rank put something together, and hopefully soon, so we can get this thing going.
Do you yourself sincerely believe that Teofimo is ready to walk away from the game for good?
You know what, man? He's had a good career, like you said, but I don't think so. I think he will be back. But maybe he's going through some things. But hey, man, if he is, that was his last fight. He had a good career. Can't knock him.
He's an interesting character. I feel like he pulled the wool over everyone's eyes and had us all fooled going to that Josh Taylor fight. I fell for it because I know Teofimo's clearly a gifted and athletic phenom when it comes to this fighting game. But mentally, I had my doubts. I was like, he's going to fight Josh Taylor? Like, because I know Josh Taylor's a dog, and he's proven it time and again, aside from that cat trial fight. But in the build-up to that fight, Teofimo was just saying all kind of craziness, and you're like, but then when the fight went out, I was working the event, the Jaime Munguia event, and my friend and I are watching on the laptop, and I can't even believe what I'm seeing. Like, Teofimo is styling on him. I'm like, okay, so Teofimo was playing the role, and if he walks away, so be it. But anyways, I don't want to talk too much about Teofimo. This is about my man here, Arnold Barboza Jr. You're in such a great position. I believe that it sounds pretty legit to me with Paco Valcarral releasing a text, because he doesn't really tweet very often about stuff, and I think it's pretty real. Just to because I'm coming down towards the end, I only wanted to ask you a few questions and not take up too much of your time on this busy day. So I do know you and you if you choose, like, this is something you want to address because you're moving on to other ideas. I know you and Regis Prograis had some words and exchanged some thoughts online, and Regis Prograis said that you were trying to get out of the fight with him. What was the situation really going on between you and Regis to get that fight together between you two? Because I know he's fighting one of your previous opponents now in his upcoming fight this weekend.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, I'm 100% positive that, a lot of other guys in the top 5, top 6, got a call and they denied it, because of the time. There's only about 4 weeks left, and also the pay. The budget for that fight that they had left over was not nowhere near what what I deserve on a 4-week notice. Yes, I'm always in the gym, I'm always staying active, but I'm not training for a 12-round championship fight. Regis is 6 weeks ahead in camp. You got to think about it. He's already 6 weeks ahead in camp. He's been sparring, he's been knowing he's going to defend his belt. Like, I'm in, I'm just in the gym. I'm running here. I'm running a few miles. I'm not doing my typical training, my sparring. So I was still willing to take the fight because I am in shape and I am, in the gym. But they had to compensate me for that, for that risk, and they just didn't want to do it. It came down to the business side of it, and he can't say that, business side of it that I ran because of that, because he always, he made business decisions on his own, when not signing with Top Rank and not, doing stuff like that. So, it came down to, the money and people got to understand that out of that money that they wanted to pay me, I still had to pay I had to pay 20% off the top to my promoter because I'm on a different promoter's card, just off the top, So I was going to end up making less money for that fight than I made in my previous 3 fights, so to me, it was just like, okay, 4 weeks to prepare. Like, why wouldn't Regis want me in a full camp, a full 100% Arnold Barboza Jr.? Because I would want Regis at 100%. I wouldn't want Regis Prograis at a 4-week camp, so that's that. We moved on. Good luck to him and this week coming up. And we'll see what happens after.
I wanted to just get your thoughts on that so you can clear up the air on that one. I've made thousands of videos myself. I've never used the word duck, cherry pick. It's a lot more complicated that in a boxing game. There's obviously, what your value is. There's the timing of everything. So it's never as simple as in the outside world or boxing Twitter perceives it to be. So I definitely wanted to get your thoughts on that whole situation, because every time I bring up Arnold, they're always like, what happened with Regis? And I'm like, man, I don't know. I'm not like, I don't know all this kind of information. I'm just a regular boxing guy that asks questions every now and then and gets some answers. But I appreciate you taking the time to clear that up. And I know you got. I think hopefully you get that title shot next for the WBO. I'm pretty optimistic you're going to be next in line. Who your opponent's going to be, I feel like it could either be Jose Ramirez or what. So now that, in theory, say we live in this world where Teofimo did technically vacate and it's really happening, you're the #1 contender, which means you'd be the next in line to fight for it. What is the possibility of Devin Haney all of a sudden making some calls and trying to get that belt? Can he make some calls within the WBO system, being that he's a champion in the 135 division?
Oh yeah, of course. I think if Devin Haney was to want to fight for the WBO, he'd have like the first dibs because he is the champion. He is undisputed, so he does have that. That right away he has the first call on it. So like I said, a lot of things still happen. Like I said, I don't, get my hopes up, because a lot of things can still happen. This is boxing, so So we'll see, man. Hopefully, hopefully I do get my shot. I know I deserve it. But I'm gonna stay praying about it, man. Hopefully it happens.
I'm optimistic it happens. You follow the names in the years that are on the rankings charts. At least people like me do, and you've been there, pounding everybody above you to give you the opportunities, and you've put yourself in a position in the WBO system where you've kind of cornered the whole ranking system and that sanctioning body where they have no choice. Now you got to deal with Arnold Barboza Jr. So I looked out getting your phone number a couple of weeks ago because as soon as the news broke, I was like, holy crap. The center of the 140-pound division is essentially in Arnold's ball game and in your ball court right now. So just congratulations on that. It takes years of hard work, preparation, and a little bit of luck to get to where you are currently. And I'm excited for what the future holds for you, Arnold, because I know you're going to have some great fights in the future and give us boxing fans some good stuff to remember you by when the game is over, Before I finish this out, I wanted to ask you a couple of boxing nerd questions just for the sake of having some fun with it. So I want to play a word association game, and just the first thought or the first idea that pops in your head when I mention these names of other competitors in your division. So, Jose Ramirez.
Respect.
Subriel Matias.
As a dog.
Regis Prograis.
A liar.
Rolly Romero.
Can't believe he's champion.
Yeah, I can't either. Ryan Garcia.
Welcome to 140 when he comes.
Nice. All right. And the one last thing I wanted to ask you, Mr. Barboza, we've got a huge fight coming up, a generational fight between Terrence Bud Crawford and Errol Spence. What is your thoughts on that fight, and how do you see it playing out if you want to give us that?
Man, you know what? That's a 50-50 fight. I'm very excited for that fight. I like both fighters, man. You can't knock the power of Spence, but you can't not knock the ability of Crawford, man. He just, I just think Crawford's more diverse, man. He has more tools in his box, So I'm gonna lean a little bit with Crawford on this one, man. It's just, see what happens, but it's 50-50. It's literally a coin flip for me.
Nice. Are you going to be pulling up to the fight in Las Vegas?
No, I won't be there. I'll probably be training for sure in training camp, hopefully, for a fight.
Nice. Well, that about sums up all the questions I wanted to ask you, Arnold.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you
very much for taking the time. And I know you're a busy guy, and I will be watching this closely, this 140-pound WBA sanctioning thing. And I know you're going to give us some great fights in the future, and best of luck, my man.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate you, man. Thank you for the time for having me.
Thank you, Arnold. You have a good night, my guy.
You too, man. Thank you.